Hey guys, welcome back to JRC Performance. Well, Pagani uses the AMG M275 twin-turbo V12 in their Huayra. They use it in their Utopia, and they offer it with a manual transmission option. I can't afford either, or any Pagani for that matter, but I do own an AMG twin-turbo V12, and I did 6-speed manual swap. So this is Project Pagani Frugale, which is Italian for budget Pagani, or frugal Pagani. Yeah, let's take a look. This thing is about as far from stock as you could possibly get as far as the drivetrain goes. I've got these beautiful pass-through intakes that go directly to the turbos. They are tapped for meth. I don't know if you can see that in there, but you might just have to believe me. They are. I deleted that system because I don't need it. The turbos, well, the intercoolers, I don't know if you can see them underneath. They're the massive speed-driven intercoolers, and they are cooled by a killer chiller and a trunk tank. So my intake air temperatures are fantastic as is. I did not need the meth, so I just deleted it. Weight savings, I guess. Yeah, I fabricated this engine cover in a way that I could, well, I fabricated the mounts so that I could put them over these massive intercoolers from Speed Driven, because I just think, you know, if you have a 65 AMG, you need the engine cover, and I didn't have the heart to hack this one up. I've got UPD billet idler pulleys, massive billet hybrid turbos. They are ported, and I have 3-inch speed-driven downpipes, which go to an H pipe, and then stock exhaust manifolds. No, sorry, stock exhaust mufflers. As you can see, no ABC. I have yellow speed coilovers with an SLR speed or VVK, whichever you prefer, sway bar in the front, which is massive. And I think it handles fantastic. I know that, you know, there's going to be a bunch of ABC purists out there that say I ruined this car by taking the hydraulic suspension off, but I don't care what you think. This only drives marginally worse than ABC, and I don't have to worry about blowing a line on the highway and the turbos catching the ABC fluid on fire. So, yeah. Moving to the back of the car, I have a Kleeman or Quaife limited slip differential in the back. You know, makes launching very easy. Well, as easy as it can be with a, you know, big turbo V12, but let's go ahead and talk about the manual swap. Manual swap starts in the engine bay. Here's my little clutch fluid reservoir right here. What I did was I passed it from the interior up to this SAM box, and there is a small rubber grommet right here that you can cut. It's just weather stripping, and the clutch line fits perfectly. And so, as minimally invasive as possible. That is the theme of how I manual swap these cars. This is my, I don't know, 4th, 5th AMG manual swap, and honestly, right out of the gate, it drives just unbelievably well. So here's the interior. I have my shifter there. Little shift bezel. I just took the factory bezel and cut it with a Dremel. Here's the pedal situation. I'll explain that clutch pedal on the left a little better here in a second when it's not dinging. Basically, what I had to do was, I'm using Chrysler Crossfire pedals, and unfortunately, the way the carpet is, if you can see from this angle, I had to cut the clutch pedal in half, and even still, it was hitting the carpet a little bit, so I had to add that little spacer. That can be avoided by using W211 E-Class pedals, which bolt right up and avoid the carpet completely. That's the setup I have in my CL65, but I got extremely, extremely lucky to find a set of W211 pedals, and I'm still on the lookout for a set for this one, because, like I said, I like it to look as OEM as possible, and right now that, you know, my pedal box doesn't look as good as I think it could. It is functional, but it doesn't look as good as I think it should. In case you guys didn't believe me that I'm actually using a Mercedes transmission under here, here we go. I had to do a custom transmission cross member. It is not the final iteration, do not worry. There's my sway bar, really nice piece from VVK. 3-inch speed driven down pipes, as you can see. All the way back, got a little X pipe. And then here's my Kleeman limited slip differential. I don't know if you could see that from here, but yeah. All right, guys, so we're just driving along here. Yeah, everything works as factory. I mean, no lights on the dash, besides the ABC white warning light, but you know, that's a problem for another day. Yeah, I used a BMW ZF shifter, which I think is a little bit high, but I kind of like it, you know, because like this is a nice angle for my arm to be with the center console right here and shifting. Transmission-wise, I used a 6-speed manual from a 2006 C230 that I got from the junkyard. And I know that there's a lot of debate between, you know, manual swap guys in the Benz community about, you know, if there really are any differences between the internals of an NSG 370 and NSG 510. To my knowledge, there are not. But, you know, if you want to do a manual swap, whatever makes you sleep better at night, I guess. Me, I'm rocking this one. I do not think that there is another person running this particular variant of this transmission with higher horsepower than what I'm doing. So this will definitely be a litmus test. I have a custom drive shaft made by B&T Drive Shaft in Milford, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cincinnati. But yeah, I mean, it drives factory. I mean, it feels great. There's a reason why Pagani used this engine with a manual transmission. I mean, it is smooth. I'm still braking in the clutch, so you will not be seeing any pulls in this video. I'm very sorry. But for a clutch, I used the Kangaroo Clutch 260 millimeter organic full face disc. And, you know, will that hold the power? I don't know. I had it laying around from my M156 swap that I ended up parting out. That's another story for another day. But I will tell you this, it drives fantastic. It really does. It's smooth, unlike the twin disc that I run. And I want to be very clear about something. I am still dialing in this particular swap. Like, I had never done a manual swap using the Mercedes transmission on a CL class, you know, so a lot had to be customized. You know, the pedals had to be customized. The shift linkage, of course, had to be customized. Custom drive shaft. You know, this is very different than manual swapping a C-Class, which had a manual offering, or even an E-Class, which had a manual offering. A CL, S-Class, and I would say even to a degree an SL. You know, that's different gravy. That is very different. Yeah, I'm just on some, you know, little back roads here, testing out the old sway bar a little bit, but mainly just want to show you guys me going through the gears. Yeah, and there's still some things that I need to dial in with this particular swap. You know, I still need to do my parking brake, because when I bought this car, obviously an automatic, so you didn't really need the parking brake, and I bought it with the parking brake not working, so kind of a bummer. I forgot about that when I first started this manual swap, but you know, we'll fix it. It's okay. But yeah, to summarize, 716.6 transmission from a 2006 C230. And you know, I know what people are going to say, oh, it's not going to hold the power. It might not, but I got it from a junkyard, and if it doesn't, I don't know. I mean, I'll get an NSG 510 or whatever the heck people use. I think it probably will hold the power just fine. I don't really beat on this car too bad at all. And you know, the power band in the V12, it isn't immediate, especially not with big turbos. It, you know, the turbo lag is substantial with hybrid turbos. And so, you know, your max torque, you're not going to get right off the line unless you're like brake boosting it. Which I don't do. So I think this clutch and transmission combo will hold, but you know, time will tell. I suppose I could get onto the highway just really quick. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to be over here doing a pull or anything like that. Not today. Just braking in the clutch, and it is tempting. Let me tell you, it is tempting. You know, we'll do a little downshift. Really nice right there. Yeah, I didn't think I would like having this shifter this high up, but I really do. You know, it's perfect for having my arm resting on the center console. Nothing crazy. I'll go ahead and shift it to 6th, even though I don't need to, just to show you that it can. I mean, it literally drives like factory. Josh Chase at the Mercedes swap shop is who makes these manual controllers to make all this possible. And you know, I can do the mechanic swap, I can do the fabrication stuff, all that. But I tell you this, the electronic side of things is Greek to me. I cannot understand anything. So you know, it really helps having a friend like Josh Chase at Mercedes swap shop, who is so talented at these canvas systems and these AMGs, and he's able to make everything work and be happy together. I don't have a check engine light. I've got boost. You know, nothing. It's driving like factory. It's driving like, dare I say, a Pagani would drive with one of these transmissions. But I wouldn't know that because, like I said at the beginning of the video, I can't afford it. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up today's video. You know, just a little status report, summary on where the build is right now. I do have more plans for this. I want to dial it in even better, get a nice set of W211 clutch pedals, and I'll kind of show you what that looks like on the CL65 really quick. See how much better that looks? That looks factory right there. that's what I will do on the CL65. But again, if you want one of these swaps, don't hesitate to contact Mercedes Swap Shop. He's the only one in the game that can do this, and he is the best. You know, I consider him a friend. He's a really nice guy, very knowledgeable, and he'll get you right electronically. Like I mentioned, I can do the fabrication. I can do the, you know, got my welding stuff. I can do the manual swaps, but I cannot do the electronic swaps. So it really, you know, I'm really, really grateful that I know him and am friends with him so that he can help me out on that side of things. Yeah, got it up on the lift. That oil leak under there, that is not from this car. That is from a different car that just came off of the lift. So don't worry about that. But once again, I would consider doing one of these for a customer, like a manual swap. But if it's on a CL or a vehicle that did not come factory with a manual transmission, you're gonna pay a premium, because I do not want to do it. It is a ton of work. Pretty much everything has to be custom, and yeah, I mean, you are much better off doing a C-Class or, you know, an E-Class, or, you know, something easier like that. And, you know, the price will definitely reflect it. But, you know, as you can see, it's doable. I've done it twice. And yeah, I think they drive absolutely great with a manual transmission. These CLs are extremely underrated cars. And I think they are some of the best value for your money that you can get out there today. But yeah, I would consider doing a manual swap for a customer. I still build engines, and, you know, I can provide consultation. If you want to take on an engine build or a manual swap yourself, you know, I do consulting hours. I can do it in English or in Italian. Those are the only two languages I'm fluent in, so yeah, sorry if you don't speak English or Italian. Use Google Translate or something and send me an email. But yeah, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it.